Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and this is about the University of California. The fact that they are dumping Wells Fargo because of Wells Fargo's support, financial support for the private prison industry. And we know from the 13th Amendment that the mass incarceration targeted at people of color and low income people is a form of slavery. And that it is in the 13th Amendment that people who are incarcerated are slaves to the state. And so basically, the support for the financial support for the private prison industry is a type of slavery. And that makes you wonder of who is collecting campaign donations still, even now, from the private prison industry. Open Secrets tells us that it's not only Republicans, it's mainly Republicans, but there are also Democratic politicians who are collecting slave checks from the private prison industry. But however, the University of California is dumping its contracts with Wells Fargo. The fact that Wells Fargo supports Geo Group and Core Civic, two private prisons that operate in the United States, that we know about racial profiling, police targeting of racial minorities, and the fact that there is a tremendous problem today with the drug war and the filling of those prisons, those slave houses, with people of color. And so the African Black Coalition, which is an organization that operates across 15 University of California campuses, has been campaigning for 2 years to convince the University of California system to divest. And so it's finally happening. There's more information about this in this article. The fact that Wells Fargo is being flanked on this side by the African Black Coalition, and then on this side by Sioux Nation. And even the fact that Wells Fargo behaved so badly during the 2008 home mortgage crisis, and the fact that they actually operated in a criminal manner, opening up lines of credit for people who didn't even know that they were having lines of credit opened up for them, a type of financial fraud. So they should, hopefully Wells Fargo is being flanked on yet a third side by people who are just tired of the corporate malfeasance, this type of white collar crime, and this sponsorship of violent economic destruction against people who were struggling to begin with, but in the wake of the recession, still have not really gotten to even keel. And so this is Wells Fargo that's perpetrating all this malfeasance upon the working poor, the blue collar workers, the unemployed, the people who are financially vulnerable, and then also communities of color by sponsoring hideous activities against them. And so I'm going to leave a link to this article in the description, but just to let people know that the divestment movement is having a tremendous effect, and that various cities, Seattle, are considering removing $3 billion worth of investments from Wells Fargo. And then also Princeton and Yale universities are also considering that too. And the University of California system has agreed to remove holdings from Wells Fargo. And so this is the public relations nightmare that maybe most banks would not want to have, but they did bring it on themselves. And so it's good to see people standing up against just a systematic, egregious behavior by Wells Fargo Bank. Good luck.